Coming to you live from a little grass shack in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's the Junior Kekuewa Jr. Show, starring Junior Kekuewa Jr.
I thought we fired this guy already.
Join Junior along with the Wayne Bote Band as he makes any kind from Hawaii.
What do you mean job security?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Kekuewa Jr.
How's Hawaiians? Hawaiians. Hey, so, all right. Get him out. All right. Oh, man, on the podcast. That's so welcome. We'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the podcast. That's what we're doing today. And, first, the attitude of gratitude. So we're not going to go over the whole list and everything, but we do have some new listeners. But we want to just say, look, for you guys, okay, we want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank the people that you know and give them the podcast. Send it to them. Take the link, copy paste, and text, okay, and tell them, hey, we heard it on the podcast. Uncle was talking stuff, and oh yeah, when we listened really close, we go, yeah, Uncle's talking real stuff. So anyway, thank you, and welcome to the podcast. All right, so now, today we're going to talk about the death of Bruddah Claus. Bruddah Claus. Wait, who? Bruddah Claus. Okay, Santa Claus. Okay, this is kind of like Santa Claus, kind of the same but different. Bruddah Claus. Okay, now I know sometimes I tell personal stories on the podcast, and this is the only place that people actually really get to know like me. Okay, because there's the celebrity Junior, and that's like he's out there and he's doing his thing, and then there's a podcast. Like, so we'd like to apologize in advance, but anyway, so. And I go into like personal stuff here because this is the podcast. The podcast will live longer than I will. And you can always come back and hear the stories, okay? Because I have such skilled haters, right? That my haters will go out there and they'll tell. So there's actually people that I've worked with in radio, in television, in entertainment, okay? Which is like one small sliver of my life. And these people will swear on a stack of Bibles that they know me. They will swear that, I'm like this, I do that. But here's the thing, right? And we can get into this later, but it's subconscious. Okay, we have paradigms. We have multiple paradigms that we deal with different people differently, okay? Now, the people that expect you to be one way, okay, it's important that you consciously feed them that way all the time. Because then, especially if you want some privacy and you want, your own kind of thing going on, whatever. But anyway, we're going to tell you the real story over here and the death of Bruddah Claus and how that happened. Now, so I was on this radio show. It was the second largest radio show in Hawaii. And I started, we kind of played the whole thing by ear. And me and the lead guy, okay, because I was second banana. And that's what I do. So my specialty is to do the comedy relief, second banana kind of thing. And the lead guy's job was to like figure out everybody's strengths and weaknesses and play off of them and create a show out of it. And he was very, very good at it. The guy was like better than anybody I've ever worked with. And so he was like a quarterback. He knew everybody's strengths and weaknesses. And so anyway, so I would substitute for the real guy, okay, because I had businesses to run and I don't really think they would have hired me anyway. I'm not the kind of person that would condone a lot of the clique-ish kind of things that happened and that went on. And I really was not on board. So I don't think they would have hired me anyway because it wouldn't have been too good a fit. I'm the kind of guy that will tell the emperor that he's walking around in his underwear. Okay, so I'm not the kind of person that would go, oh yeah, okay, and go along and support the delusion. All right, so anyway, So Bruddah Clause was this character that I invented instead of Santa Claus because it was a pidgin English kind of thing. Bruddah Clause, hey, Bruddah Clause, how's it? And so I did this character, and the character sounded like this. Oh, Brad, Brad, my sister's a piggy. We used to do unpolitically correct stuff like that. And they would go, your sister's a piggy? And so, and I would go, oh, Brad, yeah, and she ate dinner. She had to have 2 glass water, one for drink and one for cool off her fork. So stuff like that, right? So basically they were your mama jokes, and we just turned them into, comedy. So anyway, so this character who spoke pidgin, right? Because, my mom is credited for me understanding and speaking English. Because when I was a kid, she said, well, you leave the pigeon outside. Leave the pigeon outdoors. When you come in the house, you speak good English. And she was a teacher, and she corrected me and that kind of thing. And so eventually I learned something. So anyway, I'm doing this character, and it's Christmas time. Christmas time's coming up. And my girlfriend at the time bought me these pair of boxers. Okay, they were like boxer shorts. Okay, but they were Christmassy because they had the white thing, or the white bands around the legs kind of thing. Like a Christmas hat kind of thing, right? And it was furry, and so anyway, all right. So I tell her, because I am rising in my popularity. My popularity was almost at its all-time high at that point. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to wear this on the Sand Island Triangle. Now, this is in public, okay? The Sand Island Triangle is a place where this, so all the truckers and stuff come out of Sand Island. It's an industrial area. And so, we would stand on the Sand Island Triangle for like publicity stuff, right? So I told her, I said, well, during December and Christmas, I'm going to wear these boxers. And I said, I'm gonna wear them in public. And I'm going to stand on the triangle, and I'm going to do Bruddah Clause. And I just pulled the name out of my head, Bruddah Clause, right? And so when Christmas time happened, and she said, no, you're not. Yeah, right. So it was kind of a dare, okay? It was kind of a dare that I did it in the first place. And so I went and got white slippers. So I had white Oakley slippers. And then I had, and there was always something that gave me away, right? Because, I like quality stuff, like good stuff. Like I wouldn't just wear flip-flops. And I don't think I have a pair of regular flip-flops. And anyway, so that happened. So I got the outfit. Then I said, okay, a wife beater, right? We'll use a wife beater. That was the idea of the guy whose show I was on. We can't name names because, my attorney's like, dude, you don't name names. I'm like, okay. So anyway, but that guy, okay, so he said, he mentioned wife beater. I said, yeah, that's a good, that's a good thing. So I used the wife beater the first year. The second year I did an Aloha thing with, I went down and got shorts and matching Aloha shirt from the swap meet. And that was hilarious because it was so loud you needed earplugs, right? Like I would never wear stuff like that, right? So this is all show business, okay? Anyway, so we go down. The first year we go down, and I call up these hot girls that I know, okay? And I say, hey, can you come down and put on a teddy? And they go, what? Put on a teddy? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there in underwear. And so anyway. So these girls come down, and they come down in teddies, and they're giving away candy. So I got a guy, okay, from this market to donate candy, okay, because he had candy. They had candy. So he donated I think it was $100 of candy, and so he I forgot the exact amount. It could have been a couple hundred. I forgot. But he made a donation of candy, and this is way back in the 90s, okay. This is in the early 2000s, actually. So it's in the early 2000s. I became popular in 99. And so now this is like 2000, 2001. And so now we're at the Triangle, and these guys are like, so I have these fans, and these longtime fans that love to listen to me on the radio. Now my fan base is aging. They are probably in their, the kids whose father was driving them to school are probably in their 30s right now. Okay, so their parents who are in their 50s right now are these are the people that used to listen to me, right? So and they came over and they were solid diehard fans. They came over and some of the guys would bring Heineken, like green bottles, like 6 packs of green bottles, cold pack, and they used to bring it and drop it off. Now I'm there live on the radio. Okay, so how this worked was there was this guy from the radio that came down with me, and he had a cell phone. So he would call in live to the show. So I still have recordings of all of these things, and we're going to put some up on YouTube before too long. Anyway, they're making live recordings, right? Well, they're coming, over the radio station. Now, I have a recorder that I recorded over the radio station live. Okay, so I had a recorder, and my recorder it's a special thing. I still have it, and it can record FM radio. So, and it's a digital device, so it records it to hard drive. So I have this thing running in my pocket. Okay, now I'm all teched out, and these guys have no idea that I'm doing this, right? So they just think I'm down on the triangle. Okay, so now the other thing I have is a headset radio. And I had a headset radio so I could monitor what was going on at the radio station when the guys would be talking, because I wanted to know what they were saying, right? Okay, so, and this gets pretty interesting. Because in addition to all the nice things that they said on the radio, they were saying some pretty bad stuff, right? And they thought I couldn't hear them. So anyway, and it was funny though. It was in the name of comedy, but I could tell which things were personal and which things were comedy, and nobody else could tell what was personal or comedy because they didn't know. They weren't on the inside. So anyway, I'm wearing this headset, and I'm hearing them in real time, and every once in a while we'd cut to the triangle where I was standing with my guitar singing Christmas songs. And the trucks would come out and they would blast their horns and people would pop their horns. And so I was waving to the traffic. So we created quite a huge traffic problem because people were slowing down, right, to wave shaka. We have this shaka thing we do in Hawaii. And basically say good morning and acknowledge me and whatever, pop their horns. So it was a pretty chaotic kind of thing. And we would stay at the triangle for about an hour. So now, this would be going back and forth to the radio station. So they would play music, then we would come out of music, and we would go down to the triangle. Then we go back to music, that kind of thing. So it's back and forth, back and forth. So anyway, so this Bruddah Clause thing becomes a tradition, and I did it for, I think, 3 years, okay? But the death of Bruddah Clause, okay, so the death of Bruddah Clause. Anyway, so I started doing these. I started showing up at Christmas parties dressed as Bruddah Clause, okay? And it was hilarious. And people, they went along with it because, well, it looked legit, right? And it was legit, but it was for an adult audience, okay? It wasn't for little kids. Well, here comes the death of Bruddah Clause. And the death of Bruddah Clause happens when these guys, these two guys, they were on TV. They had a TV show, very successful guys, very. And they have an overbooking. So they call me and they go, hey, Junior, we got this overbooking, right? And we want you to take this job because these guys, nobody can do this. And these guys just need somebody to MC and they need some, basic services, whatever. And you can, do some entertainment and they're good. And I'm like, okay. So I went down. I went down to this hotel. It was a small little hotel by the airport. And so we go down and we do this thing, right? So part of the thing, I tell them, well, I'm going to come on as Bruddah Clause, and then, I'll be the Santa, and then Bruddah Clause will call out the presents and we'll give the presents to all the kids and all, everything, right? And that goes well. Everything goes well, okay? Now, you have to also put into context that I'm a teacher. All right, I teach children, and I've taught children for 37 years. Okay, a long time. And it matters for me, okay, what children say, and it matters to me, how children react to things. Okay, because you can't kid kids. Okay, I don't care what, you cannot kid children. Okay, and children see through all your stuff. Okay, adults. Okay, they see through all your stuff. So anyway, so I'm at this party, and I change, and I come back, and I'm calling the presents and everything, and everything's good. And all of a sudden, right, it's time to take pictures. So they're going to take pictures with Bruddah Clause. All right, so we take a group picture. So we're all getting together for the group picture. Now, this Bruddah Clause thing has been a riot on radio. This Bruddah Clause thing has been like a successful thing, right? And everybody, so we're going along year by year with this Bruddah Clause thing. And Bruddah Clause is kind of like folklore legend at this time, because every year Bruddah Clause happens, right? And people look forward to that. They were looking forward to it, right? Okay, so anyway, we get together for the group photo part at the end of the party, right? Right before the end of the party. So everybody's, together, and they put me together with everybody, and, I'm in the middle, and there's this little girl, okay? This little, I think she was 9, okay? Something like that. This little 9-year-old girl, and she's standing on the side of me, and she's very opinionated, right? She's very smart. And she looks up at me, and she goes, "Those are underwear." Okay, now nobody can hear, okay? It's just me and her, right? And I look down at her, and I go, "Shots, baby, shots." And she looks up at me, she goes, "Underwear." And okay, now this little girl, right? And I'm looking down at her, and I'm going, oh, it's kind of like a fly. You know when a fly is coming around, you just want to kind of flick them off, And I'm trying to do this, and I'm also trying to keep it quiet so that this kid doesn't start screaming underwear and gets all, traumatized, right? Luckily, she didn't do that, right? And so we keep going back and forth. So I'm smiling for the camera. I'm holding my guitar, and this kid's right next to me, and she's going underwear, and I'm going shorts. And so we're going back and forth. Nobody can hear this conversation, right? Nobody except me and her. Okay, so we have this little, and pretty soon, and then we break up for the group photo, and I go straight to the bathroom, to the restroom, because I have a bag that I kept all the Bruddah Clause clothes in, and I got out of my Bruddah Clause outfit, and I put it all in the bag because I had the Santa hat. So it's a Santa hat. It's white shades. Okay, it's the shorts, underwear. Okay, and then the slippers, and it's all in a bag, and I kept it in the trunk of my car. So it was always in the trunk of my car until the next holiday, till the next Christmas. So anyway, I get out of this stuff. I come back, and we do this, disco, whatever, dance. We do this dance music on an iPod for the end of the evening, and it was just like an hour, and then we left. Okay, and when we left, I was like, okay, Bruddah Clause will not happen again. Okay, but it was because of this 9-year-old girl. Okay, and basically that's how Bruddah Clause. Everybody knows, the people that know me from back in the day. They know about Bruddah Clause. They know what I did as Bruddah Clause. They don't know why I never did Bruddah Clause again. And that was like the third year. After that, I said, no more Bruddah Clause. But it was because it affected a child like that. And it didn't affect her negatively, I don't think. She was just like calling me out on it. But because she called me out on it, I was like, okay, no more. Okay, but anyway, so that's the Bruddah Clause story, because people don't know, like, okay, well, why didn't you do Bruddah Clause anymore? That's the reason. All right. So I was involved in a lot of radio stuff, okay, a lot of radio, television, and entertainment stuff. And there was some interesting things that happened in the industry, okay? So the death of Bruddah Clause was just one thing that happened. It was just one thing. But the most interesting thing that I found, because I was on the outside of a lot of stuff. Okay, and the reason why I was on the outside, and here comes the life coaching part, okay? Because I know, like, okay, well, what's the life coaching part here? What's the life coaching thing? Okay, well, the life coaching side of everything is I had to fight. I felt like a salmon all the time because I was always swimming upstream. I was always, because I'm a rebel like that. I buck the system. Okay, and when I see things that aren't fair, okay, I'm a Libra. I gotta preface it with that. I'm a Libra, and when I see things that aren't fair, or when things aren't fair, I tend to push back rather hard. Okay, and I'm here to tell you that the way I succeeded anyway. Okay, I got to do everything anyway. I got to do and live my dreams and do everything that was on my dream list, perform in front of people. I got to do radio, got to do television, got to do all kinds of things. And I got to experience these things. Now, I have to say, if I was, if I had to do radio for a living, if I had to do that, like, okay, so God goes, all right, you just get to do radio. That's all you get to do. And you get known as the radio guy. And then when you die, we'll have a eulogy and we'll talk about you, the radio guy, that kind of thing. If that was my life, I would be severely limited. I would be severely disappointed. And my life would not be as full as it is. So, being in an industry like that, okay, I had to figure out a way to circumvent a lot of this stuff, okay, to go around it. Circumvent means to go around it. And this is the life coaching part, because you have the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious states of awareness in you, okay? It's in you. It's a part of you. God is in you. The kingdom is within. And here's what I'll tell you about the kingdom within. Okay, it's nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of or anything like that. It's nothing like that. Okay, it's the power that you have to attract the things into your life. Okay, that you want to attract. Okay, so I got to be the radio guy. I got to be the radio star. I got to the number 2 show in Hawaii. Okay, now the number 1 show in Hawaii was just a really black and white kind of show. It was just it was 2 guys. They were, and I would use the word credibility. Okay, they were the credibility guys. We were the entertainment guys. So we were the number 1 entertainment people on radio. Above us, there was a more popular show, and those guys were the credibility guys. So when we had a natural disaster, like a hurricane, a massive island-wide power outage, or something like that, those are the guys that you would listen to, and they would come on the radio. But they were very serious, very matter-of-fact, very community-oriented kind of thing. And we were entertainment. We were solid entertainment. So for what we did, we were number 1 at what we did. Okay, and it was very rewarding, put it that way, when suddenly the doors open, and I'm going to do a podcast called On the Third Day, and that's going to be coming up, and that's going to tell you the story of how God worked in my life and how it kind of, opened the doors for me, right? But when this happened, I realized a lot of things. Okay, I realized that you have your own, what we in Hawaii we call it mana. Okay, you have your own mana inside. You have your own blessings inside. You have your own life path inside. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be a part of the industry. Okay, I'm not really a part of the entertainment industry. I'm not really a part of the radio industry. I did radio for 40 years. But I did part-time work. Why? Because I didn't get along with the people that made the decisions to hire full-timers. Okay, I worked in radio full-time. I had a contract once. They put me on a show with 2 other people. I loved the girl that I was with, and I liked the guy that I was with too. Okay, I started to like him as a person. I didn't really trust him in business because he lied to me. But I mean, I think he lied to me because he didn't really have anything going on. And I owned a few companies at the time. I think I owned 3 companies at the time. I have 4 now. And I think I was building the 4th company at the time. I was kind of getting ready for it. And so there was this promotion I wanted to do, and he told me he owned this company that he was doing tours with. And yeah, so that didn't happen because, I go to the DCCA and check, right? I go to, but anyway, but what I'm saying is, right, as a person, I started liking the guy, and I'm like, wow, he's a really cool dude. Like, he's a really cool guy. And he's a Libra just like me. And I'm like, wow, he's really cool. And the girl that I worked with, I just adored her. I thought she was so, like, some people were just born cool, and she was like that. So I had a contract working with these guys for about 9 months, and then they canned us. They canned me and the lead guy, and they let this girl go work with 2 other guys. So, it was good. It was good because on the business office side of things, they kept me on. And so my company, and here's the thing, in business, right? I did an agreement with them on the back end in the office instead of on the air. So the guys on the air, they had to leave. They had to leave the station. They had to go, whatever. All I did was come and substitute and continue the things that I was contracted for through the business office. So it was a totally different deal for me. So if you want to be a business person, if you want to look at things from the business lens, then it's going to carry you farther because you have to bring value to any company. Okay, so that's another lesson. Bring value. See what you can do that will enhance the value that you can offer any company, any position, anything. Always look for value. Value supersedes everything. Okay, so anyway, so what I'm really trying to tell you is that, a lot of people get intimidated. You get intimidated from the corporation, right? You look at the corporation, you go, wow, that's a big monster. Like what can I do there, right? Like, I don't know if I can ever do that. I don't know if that'll ever happen for me. I'm here to tell you that all I did was focus on my subconscious. All I did was affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. And I did the visualization at my office. Okay, so my office was my headquarters for 4 of my companies. And all I did was sit I had this big chair. I had an executive chair in my office, and I used to sit in my chair, okay? And I used to lean back and close my eyes and visualize every single day. Now, you might say, oh, you're living in a fantasy world. You're living in make-believe. I'm here to tell you, you have to fake it to make it. Okay, let's explain fake it to make it. Okay, so this is a we call it a law of attraction comedy podcast, right? So this is actually, law of attraction is actually subconscious. Okay, so this is it. It's a subconscious comedy podcast. Okay, but you have to program your subconscious. You have to, because when you program your subconscious, God functions off of that, of whatever's in your subconscious. Okay, he functions off of your, let's call it a he because the Bible says so, right? So it's a he according to the Bible. It's not really a he, it's an energy. But God focuses on your subconscious, whatever you believe. So what do you believe? Well, do you believe the world is round, the earth is round, or the earth is flat? Well, if you believe the earth is flat, God is going to work on your subconscious on the premise that the world is flat. Okay. Now, if you think the world is round, okay, so there's a scientist that goes around saying, well, we're on an oval shape. I mean, so like, okay, right? There's this one scientist that always says that, and I'm like, oh, okay, he just wants to be interesting. Anyway, so if you believe the world is round, God is going to work off your subconscious and reinforce those things, open the door for those things, inspire you for those things, and give you intuitive thought, as in support of the world being round. So it's all what you have in your subconscious. So can you pick and choose what you want to do? Yes. Can you just go out and do some really wild stuff? Absolutely. I did some wild stuff that you wouldn't even think. And I'm not talking about Bruddah Clause. That was, that was mild. Okay. But yeah, there was some wild stuff, and there was a time in my life where I wanted to meet the celebrities. I wanted to see the celebrity. I wanted to see not just the celebrities, but who they were in person. Okay. And I'm here to tell you that sometimes that's not the best thing to seek. Okay. Because you start seeing the human being side of them. Okay. And not all of them were nice humans. Okay. Or the kind of humans that you think of when you think of a hero. Okay. Because it's show business on the outside. All right. Here we go to the left. Okay. Everything you own in a box to the left, Hawaiians. Okay. But, okay. So what I'm saying is, right, you hold somebody high, you go, wow, that guy's perfect. This, like he's a star, whatever. And then you hear him use foul language, or you hear him, do some very human things or say some very human things. And then you go, oh, I wish I hadn't heard that. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have to put it into perspective. Okay. You have to understand that this is a very human world. Okay. And here's another thing to think about. Okay. Because this is a law of attraction comedy podcast. Okay. And so the law of attraction part, life is what you make it. Life is what you attract. Okay. So, people are always asking me like, oh, uncle, how do you attract this? How do you attract that? How do you attract? Okay. So you just focus on your purpose. You want to attract women? Focus on your purpose. Just focus on your purpose. They're watching you. You don't know. You have no idea, but they're watching you. Okay? And soon, whenever, right? These women that are watching you come into contact with you. And based upon how you respond to the contact, okay, will determine your future with them. Whatever it is, okay? So, because they can tell if you like them or not. They can tell if you're, in it to win it or not. They can tell if you're faking it or not. They can tell if you're a fake. I mean, right off. Women can break that down. And you know why? Because they have to. Because they're engineered to. Okay? They're engineered to go into your brain like a boll weevil and figure it all out in a span of 2 months when you know them. Okay? And those women, if a woman is with you for more than 2 months, okay, it's because you're worth being with. Okay. Now, the other thing is you have to be honest. Okay. Now, I know I'm giving you a little relationship stuff, right? But this is attraction. So I get a lot of guys asking me, how do I attract women? Okay. I attract women like flies. Okay. Because I don't pay attention. Right? I'm not out there looking. I'm not out there hungry. I'm not out there, let's see how many women I can date. Right? All I did like years ago, and I don't do it anymore, but all I did years ago was like write down my affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a playmate. Thank you. And as soon as I did that, like they would show up, but not just one, right? God would be like, you want this one? And then, first date, whatever, second date, whatever. And then, it didn't work out. And then he'd go, okay, how about this one? And another one would show up and another one would show up. Okay. It's like that with my cars, right? The first one was in 2007. Now every 3 years, it's a new car. It could be every 3 years, a new woman. That's not what I desire. I mean, I have a lot of work to do. Okay. Like this podcast for one, right? If I wasn't doing this, I'd be distracted, right? So anyway, but what I'm saying is, yeah, you can attract anything for you. Okay. It depends on where you place your focus. Now, my focus is not on women right now. Okay. Although every once in a while it does get lonely and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, let's see. Yeah. Let's see who's available. Let's go out to lunch. Whatever. Right. Okay. And I have high standards. I have very high standards. So the women that actually get to be around me have to be they have to be smart. They have to be good looking. They have to have it together. That people that I can say, okay, yeah, I respect that person. right? Because I'm not going to be with somebody I can't respect. I'm sorry, that just doesn't happen. All right. But anyway, all right. So you can attract anything, whether it's a job, a person, whatever. Okay. The only thing you can't do is violate someone's free will. Okay. So if you meet a girl, right, and she doesn't like you, there's no way that you're going to attract that. And there's no way you would want to. Trust me. You wouldn't want that. Okay. Because if she don't like you, you're just basically whipping a dead horse. Okay. So you don't want that, guys. Okay. That's like the guys that tell me, oh, I want to attract my ex back. I want my ex back. Okay. What I'm really hearing is I want the good parts of my ex back. I want the good things that we did back, right? Because they don't want the things that led up to the ex part. You see what I'm saying? Right? But when you say you want your ex back, your ex is your ex for a reason, okay? Your ex is an ex for a reason. So you don't really want everything back, right? You don't want everything back. You just want the good parts back, okay? And I'm here to tell you, there was a period, okay, that we kind of got sidetracked onto relationships here, but there was a period in my life, right, where I thought, boy, I'm never going to get a girlfriend this good, right? So I was really upset about the breakup. Until I met the next one. And she was even wilder. It was even way better. It was crazy better. And I'm like, whoa, this one's even better than that one, right? And then the same thing happened again. Like when it was time for that thing to break up, it didn't work. It was not working. It was getting old. And then, in 4 or 5 years went by or whatever it was. And then it was like the next one was even better than that. Okay, so here's the thing, right? They are reacting to you, okay? Life is a mirror. Everything out there reacts to everything in here. I'm pointing to my body, okay? Everything out there reacts to everything in here. When you change what's in here, okay? Let's say you become boring, okay? Then you're going to meet boring women, okay? If you're exciting inside, you're going to meet exciting women. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if, it does whatever, the only thing that matters, put it that way. Okay, the only thing that matters is what's in here, how you feel in here. Are you discouraged because you're too old? Okay, here's something. Okay, I didn't plan to talk this much about relationships, but here's another thing. Age doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right. At my age, right, I am still seeing women. All right. And that probably will not change until I die. All right. But here's the thing, right? Okay. This guy in the gym, I was in this gym with a bunch of guys. And this guy, I guess he was like in his mid 50s. And he told me, I was in my 40s. I was in my early 40s. And he told me when I was in my early 40s, he was going, dude, like right after you pass 50, it's over. And I'm like, what's over? He goes, like sex and stuff like that. Like it's done after 50. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm trying to, in my mind, because he doesn't know my activities, right? And in my mind, like I was kind of going, well, let's see when I get there, right? Because my that kind of activity was like off the chain, right? And there were a bunch of girls. And I think at the time I was dating 6 girls for 3 years. And the same 6 girls, they were respectable girls, everything. But everybody had a day, and I had 1 day to rest. I had 1 day off. And so, so I was kind of like thinking about it and like, okay. And guess what? 50 came, right? 50 happened. And nothing changed. Nothing changed, okay? And 55 happened. Nothing changed. And 60 happened. And nothing changed. And I'm like, okay. So here I am, right? So I'm not really gonna say how old I am now, but I can tell you I go to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning. I work out at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? I leave the gym and I run. and I go on my run and I film my run and I put it up in my Facebook stories. Okay. But here's what I'm trying to tell you. If you think you're old, you're going to become old very quickly. Okay. If you think you cannot, right? Because let me tell you, I can date 25-year-olds. I can date 28-year-olds. Okay. That's not my favorite demographic. Okay. It's not my favorite. And it's not because they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. Okay. But they're babies. Okay. And it's not even because they're babies. Okay. It's because mature women have experience. Mature women are more together. Mature women are more, they're very much more grounded. Okay. So I like more mature women. Okay. Not talking about old women. I'm talking about mature women around 40, women up into 50, sometimes mid-50s if you get the good ones. Okay. I happen to meet a really good one lately. Okay. But I'm just saying, guys, okay, I'm trying to be real with you. I'm trying to be open. I'm trying to be, transparent. All right. So if you're in your 40s, here's a bit of information for you. It's not over at 50. It's not over at 55. It's not over at 60. Like, okay, I could keep going. But here's the thing. You got to stay fit. Okay. You got to stay fit. You got to have purpose. You got to focus on those things. Okay. Now, getting back to my original, whoa, that was a long to the left, right? Now, my original thing was it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your challenge is in the entertainment industry, in the radio industry, in the plumbing industry, in the electrician industry. It doesn't matter what you want to be or what you want to accomplish. You can attract everything to you. Okay? But you have to learn to become a magnet. How do you do that, Uncle? Okay, here's how you do it. Okay? Gratitude. Gratitude is the great multiplier. Gratitude helps everything. Okay? Start being grateful for everything. Don't take anything for granted. Even when I do a new lease on my car, I don't take it for granted that I'm just going to get the lease and, money's just going to be there and what I don't take it for granted. I make a vision board. I say thank you, right? I say I am so happy and grateful now that I have my new lease. Okay? So don't take anything for granted, okay? The worst thing you can do is start taking life for granted, because when you do that, and it's not just a religious thing, it's not just a God thing, it's not just God brings blessings and I need to be grateful to God, and it's not just that, okay? It goes deeper than that, okay? Because God operates off of you. Okay, you got to pay attention to you first. Okay, before you can pay attention to somebody else, you got to love you first. Okay, before you can pay attention to somebody else, you got to pay attention to you first. You got to fix whatever's inside of you. And you really have to work on your beliefs. Okay, so the question is, what do you believe to be true? Right? What do you believe to be true? About what? About everything. Okay, that's a loaded question, right? Okay, here's the thing. You're a human being. You have so many beliefs you don't even know. You're not even aware of all of your beliefs. Okay, we're going to go a little bit deep over here. Okay, the only time you realize how you believe about something or whatever is when you think about it or when you get triggered with it, right? You get triggered with it and you go, oh yeah, and then you remember how you feel. Okay, because otherwise it doesn't come up as a subject, right? Okay, so here's what you do. You have to start with affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization right away about whatever the target is. Okay, and then you need to work against the things that pop up in the negative regarding the subject. In other words, regarding your goal. So if your goal is, let's say, to be salesperson of the year, okay, but you're doing things that work against salesperson of the year, you need to fix those things. You need to write an affirmation about that to reverse that. And you need to put those things in your subconscious because that will accelerate the manifestation of it. So manifestation is not about, a magic. It's not about witchcraft, although you can do witchcraft. Witchcraft is a thing because energy is a thing, and everything is energy. And yes, there is evil energy. Okay? But you know what? I rarely encounter evil energy. Okay? The majority of the time, and I've been hit by evil energy a couple of times, and I had to get rid of it and get rid of it really fast. Okay? But I know how to get rid of it. Okay, if that ever happens to you, just write to me, junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com, and I'll tell you how to get rid of it. Okay, so one of the ways is sage. One of the ways is Palo Santo sticks. They're just sticks that you light. It's like incense kind of thing. Okay, evil energy doesn't like that. Okay, there's Tibetan bowls. You can do that too. Okay, these are spiritual things. Okay, and I guess if depending on how you believe, you can light candles. You can do all that stuff. You can pray. Okay, praying is what saves Christians from evil energy. Okay, if you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. So I pray a lot. Okay, and prayer, it's like an apple a day. It keeps the energy away. It keeps the evil energy away. Okay, but you can get sucked into stuff. Okay, you can go to the mall and bring it home. You can go somewhere and bring it home. Okay, that kind of stuff is possible. But you know what? Don't focus on it. Don't focus on it, and the chances of it happening are going to be small. Okay, the chances of it happening are going to be minimal. So don't even, too many people focus on, well, I'm going to learn how to cast a spell for this, that, and the other thing. Hey, you got to really watch what you play with, okay? That's what I have to say about that, because that you have to be really careful, okay? But outside of those things, just focus on what it is you desire. Okay, you don't want it, you don't need it, because want and need will keep you in lack. It'll keep you going in a circle. Okay, and the people that tell me, oh, this manifestation thing doesn't work, they're out of their minds. It's your subconscious. Okay, the fact that they're telling me it doesn't work, that is a belief in their subconscious. Guess what God's doing? God's going, oh, okay, that doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work. And now they go in a circle of it doesn't work, right? Because it doesn't work for them, and now it's not real. You see? Okay? Because your reticular activating system in your brain filters out everything you're not focused on. If you're focused on the fact that manifestation is not real, you don't see it. You don't see that everything surrounding your life you have put there on purpose by belief. Okay, belief in your subconscious. Now, did you believe all the wives' tales that your parents told you, or your superstitious family told you, or your superstitious friends told you? Okay, like a lot of stuff. Okay, there's a lot of stuff out there, right? You don't go by the road because you'll get hit by a car. Okay, that's superstitious. Okay, don't cross the path of a black cat because you'll have 7 years of bad luck or whatever. Don't break a mirror, 7 years bad luck, whatever. So I used to break mirrors on purpose when I was young, when I was a kid. Well, let's see if I get 7 years of bad luck. I break the mirror. Hey, nothing happened. A year later, hey, no bad luck happened. I want to wonder what happened, right? Because I didn't believe it. Okay, so it depends on what you believe. And what you believe becomes a reality through your subconscious. So look at everything around you. Look at the condition of your home. Is it messy? Is it cluttered? There's a difference between messy, dirty, and cluttered. Okay, is it dirty? Okay, go clean it up. Is it messy? Okay, go organize. Okay, because you can get organized by organizing it physically by yourself, like putting everything in order. Okay, or you can organize inside in your mind, and pretty soon you won't want to live in a house like that, and you'll organize it anyway. So it works either from inside or outside. But the results that you have right now come from inside. Okay, so if you look around, you're going to see what you've manifested, and you can see the condition of your mind. If everything is scattered, that's just a busy brain. Okay? If you have a lot of things in sight, okay, I'm an out of sight, out of mind person. If things are put away, I don't think about them. I don't address them. Okay, so I have a lot of things where I can see them so that it reminds me, oh, this needs to be taken care of, that kind of thing. I have notes. I have notes all over my laptop. I have stickies in my laptop. Okay, the digital stickies that have notes on it. Okay, so, and it has notes so that I address these things, so that I accomplish these things. Okay, now, so what I'm saying is, right, scattered, messy, busy, those are different things. But whatever your life is, whatever kind of car you drive, whatever kind of house you live in, whatever the conditions of your home is, whatever everything around you, you have done, you have manifested. Okay? So all you got to do, if you want to change it, okay, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. And when you change these things, your whole life will change. Oh, sorry, Always, I got to get going. But your whole life will change. And then you'll be like, this stuff works. Yeah. Hey, we want to thank the Voice Master family of service companies like Voice Master Vocal Development, Here For You Life Coaching, which is what we're doing right now, Here For You Life Coaching, and AFM Hawaii Music with Brother Darren Chinen and his music. Yeah, we'd also like to thank VMAC Consultants. That's another one of the companies, and yep, we do digital, everything digital. So just remember, you guys, right? You can attract anything. You don't need to play the game, not somebody else's game. Till next time, I'm Junior saying mahalo and